Meanwhile, the former CEO of one fast food restaurant company railing against the country's labor market problem, saying, quote, President Biden, if you want to lift people out of poverty, if you want better job numbers, if you want people to succeed and become self-reliant, please stop the government spending spree. It's time we all get back to work. That's Andy Puzder. He's former CEO of CKE Restaurants, and he joins us live, actually. Andy, good to see you. Before I get your comment on the labor market, can I get you to comment on what we just saw from our reporter there? So many people, what they're talking about relates to our conversation. They are essentially walking off the job, this alleged because of government mandates.
Yeah, I've talked to a number of people in the restaurant industry who were very concerned when President Biden announced he was going to be mandating that people with more than 100 employees compel their employees to get vaccinated. They're already having a difficult time trying to find employees. They're offering wages that people would have thought were amazing just a couple of years ago, and now they believe a lot of their labor force is going to walk away because of the mandate. So you're really slowing the economy even more than it's already slowing. We've gone from estimates of 6-7% GDP growth down to GDP now is estimating 1.2% for third quarter. We can't keep slowing down the economy. We can't keep driving people out of the labor force and expect the recovery to continue.
And as the nation grapples with what you and I are talking about, which would be labor shortages, there are also other issues, supply chain issues. And they're actually eye-opening numbers, if you will, about the number of Americans walking off the job. According to the Labor Department here on your screen, look at this number. The number of people quitting jumped up to 4.3 million in August. That is the highest on record. That is dating back to December of 2000, up from 4 million in July, which is equivalent to nearly 3% of the workforce here. When you read this, and in your expertise, sir, 4.3 million, what do you attribute this to?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. I think, one, there is some fear of COVID there, but this is August. By August, we were starting to see the numbers improve. I think what you really have is a lot of people expecting to get a lot of support from the government. You've got a whole generation, not a generation, but a whole group of people that graduated from high school or college in 2020. They've been sitting back for 18 months, collecting government checks and playing video games in their parents' basement. And they really don't understand the value of a job, of becoming financially independent, of the dignity and self-respect that come with the job. So they're not out there aggressively looking for work. The labor force participation rate is very low. We need to start encouraging people to work. Look, we need to help people that are in need. We did that during the pandemic. We should continue to do it. President Clinton and Newt Gingrich put in place work incentives in our welfare system. I think that was a great idea. Now the Democrats are taking the work incentives out. They're continuing the government largesse that we needed during the pandemic, but we don't need anymore. And people are reacting to the incentive not to work by not working.
Final thoughts from you on the supply chain issue, which clearly we've seen. We've got the video and pictures of those container ships just stuck right there on the coast. Can't get them out there. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg says this may last into the next year. Why do you think that is?
Well, maybe Pete Buttigieg shouldn't have taken 2 months off when he accepted a position in the cabinet of the President of the United States as Secretary of Transportation when we were having this emergency. Look, the problem is you've got ships backed up. They don't have people to unload the ships. The warehouses are already full because they don't have people to unload the warehouses. They don't have drivers to deliver the goods once they are unloaded. And the groups that hire, the transportation sector hiring these drivers, they enter into contracts to deliver goods that are long-term, and they factor in fuel prices. So with the increase in energy costs, they're having a hard time increasing the payment for these drivers because there's not a lot of profit left. They've locked in prices based on fuel costs, and fuel costs have grown far more substantially than anybody thought they would. So you've really got to back up, and it's really due to government policy. This is a government policy initiated and caused backup, and it's going to last as long as these bad policies stay in place.
Andy Puzder joining us live with his thoughts. Andy, good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you.